Welcome to another episode of the Up and In Show. I am here on the purple couch, and I do have a guest. We are at Cards and Culture. Thank you guys for listening, subscribing, first and foremost. And also, Sanaa Dotson, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
Yeah. What are you doing in this world right now? Are you working out? You guys got practice? You're a volleyball player for LSU. So, what are you guys up to right now?
Right now, we are in the heat of our off-season spring training. So
Look at you, spring training.
Right, yeah, a lot of early mornings, hard practices right now. But
What's early morning?
Early mornings, like 7?
That is early.
That is early.
That's early because you got to get up early, like 6 o'clock.
Like,
you're
right?
like getting ready.
So, like I have like 5 different alarms. Like one at 5:30, just so my brain starts waking up.
First time, yeah. Shock the system.
Yeah. So they're at like 6:30 on the court, like 6:45.
Oof, like in the mix at 7, like
yeah,
we're rolling.
like starting at 7, like
Yeesh.
warm before and everything.
That's like 6 a.m. weights. Like that was always like I don't know. Were you the roll out of bed? Are you the roll out of bed and like you go? Or do you shower? Like you need to eat a little bit. Like
at that point, when it's that early, it's roll out of bed, maybe make a bagel or something, and then get ready.
Yeah, that's good. At least you put something in your body.
Right,
some people just like roll out of bed, and I'm like, I don't understand how people do that.
Yeah,
like they'll wait like 3 minutes right before the workout, and they'll just like show up. I don't know. So I was always like to wonder that. Well, I'm excited. Thank you so much for being here. This conversation is going to be good for me and I hope for the listeners. We like to talk about, what makes athletes successful. I think a lot of people look up to you, not only as an elite college athlete, but just the role model that you are as a student athlete and things like that. So I like to kind of peel the layers back and understand how you got here, the things that made you successful. And I'm going to battle through some adversity today sitting on the opposite side. I'm a little flustered. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay, I just want to challenge you a little bit.
I know. I like the challenge. It's good. There's good things with challenges. As you get through the challenges, a lot of confidence comes through. So let's start with how you were raised and kind of talk to me about, I know your parents were, or your dad played in the NFL, right? Yeah. So talk to me about how you were raised in sports and that kind of stuff.
So I come from an extremely athletic family. My dad played football, was at Baylor, then played for the Packers, played for the Raiders a bit, but
won a Super Bowl, right?
Did win a Super Bowl, defensive
dope.
rookie of the year.
I did see that too. Yeah. So he's badass. That's pimp.
So, my family's just always been super competitive. I have an older brother, older sister, younger sister. All of us are in sports in some way, shape, or form.
Is everybody tall?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, everybody's pretty tall.
Yeah. How tall are mom and dad?
My mom's about 5. I'll give her like 5'7". She's really 5'6", but I'll say 5'7" in case she watches this. My dad's a good like 6'5".
Okay, so that's
we all all have my dad's height gene.
Gotcha.
My brother played football. Older sister did shot put and track and field at Baylor.
Nice.
And my younger sister's in the middle of track and soccer, sorting it out for herself right now.
Let's go.
But I just think coming from that family and having those older siblings, everything's always been a competition. So I'm even who gets front seat, running to the car, everything. So
everything's a competition.
Yeah. So it's just I feel like that's just always been instilled in me, and I've just been raised that way. Everything's a competition. Who can do what the fastest. So.
Are you guys all close in age? I'm trying to put the pieces together of
so my brother is 27. Okay. My older sister is about to turn 26. Then me, 22. My younger sister is 16. Nice. So close-ish, but not super.
But enough where so who was was your brother winning a lot of the competitions? Or?
But he never took it easy on us.
Good. That's good. Yeah.
So I'd say I was very tomboyish growing up because I used to try to play football for a while in middle school.
That's
actually.
Nice.
Yeah, I tried to play. My mom said absolutely not.
But mom drew the line right there. She was like, no.
My dad, when he retired, he had a kids type of foundation park thing, and I would join all the flag football teams. So I would be playing with the boys, running.
That's
and
super dope. What position?
Everywhere. But if I could be a position, I'd be a receiver.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Look at you.
Absolutely.
Long arms. Let's go.
Right, and I'm fast.
Yeah, are you?
I'm really fast.
Nice.
Yeah,
I guess track, like you said, right? Your sister does track. Yeah. So you guys are just genetically gifted.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Where's volleyball? So when did you start playing volleyball, and when did that journey start to become a reality that you could play at the next level?
Yeah, so growing up, my parents always had us in sports, and we all started with soccer. Just, hand-eye coordination stuff. So, we all
just go run around, burn some energy off.
YMCA, little small, church league soccer, stuff like that. And I think it was when I was 9, my older sister played volleyball, like club AAU volleyball.
Nice.
And like, you know, I always wanted to like do what she did. So the next year I joined like a church league volleyball thing, and like for like a 10-year-old, like I was really good. So I was like, this is so easy. Like I want to play like club volleyball, like, you know, like my sister.
Yeah.
And so my mom signed me up, and I was like the worst. I was like the worst when it came to like, you know, other girls had been playing like AAU for a while. And in my church, like I was like the superstar MVP, but like then I got into like the real world, and I was like, okay.
Oh shit.
And so like when I was 11, when I was like 10, 11, I started playing AAU club volleyball. And at first it was just like fun. Like I didn't like know about like college scholarship stuff like that. Like, you know, I was just young, like playing volleyball.
You're just good and
playing, I was like, this is like fun. So like I think when I was like 13, 14, I got like my first like letter of interest like from a college. Nice. And I think it was like Louisville or something, or like Baylor. Probably like my dad was like, hey, you know. Yeah. So I was like, this is like exciting. I'd like go on visits, and I think when I saw like we'd have like these big tournaments, and like the college coaches would come and stand on our courts and like talk to us and like, you know, send us like messages, and like we'd like be recruited by them and stuff. I was like, okay, like I can like continue. And like then I would watch like the NCAA championships on TV for like volleyball, and I was like, oh my gosh, like these girls, like I want to like be like them, like, you know. Yeah. And so then after that, I took some more visits, and I ended up committing to the University of Oklahoma. When I was about like 15, 16.
I was just gonna ask. So you committed kind of early. So 15, what's that, like sophomore, junior year-ish?
Yeah, sophomore year.
Wow. See, that's so weird. When I was playing, or like, I'm gonna date myself. I'm older than you right now. But we had to get like certain calls after a certain date. There was no texting at that time and all that stuff. So such an interesting world that you guys commit so early nowadays.
And I think the rules have changed now, but like I know like there were kids that were like in 8th, 9th grade.
It's unbelievable to me. There's baseball players getting recruited in 7th and 8th grade now.
Yeah, it's like you don't know. I mean,
how can you? This kid's 13 years old. How are you gonna judge what he's gonna be like when he's 19?
Yeah, and like especially like the academic standpoint too. Like I didn't know like what classes or like majors or anything like I was gonna really be interested in and stuff. So. So I'm always curious. Your dad obviously played sports, and so he had some experience going through stuff. You had older brothers and sisters. How did that play a role in your decision making for college and that kind of stuff? Was it a benefit, you know, to you, and did you feel confident, or was it still relatively new and like, you know, all dropping? I think my parents did a good job of giving me enough leeway to kind of like make my own decisions and like learn the recruiting process myself, but like also with my dad had been in that situation and stuff, like, and having someone in my corner that like kind of, you know, knew a lot about it, like it was very helpful. Like I would go on visits and stuff, and like he'd be like, okay, like, you know, did you think about like X, Y, and Z, like, you know?
Nice. Yeah.
So it's like I'm enjoying these things like just as just a student athlete, just like as a volleyball player, but my dad was also like you know, hand. Yeah. You know,
he like had enough in the pot and like was advising you, but letting you do your own thing.
Which was really, really nice. You know, in hindsight, when I committed to Oklahoma, of course, you know, Big 12 Baylor, who was like, not how sure I feel about this, but you know.
Did he want you to go to Baylor?
He did. Yeah, he didn't want me to go to Baylor, but I was like, you know, my brother went to U of H, my sister went to Baylor, and I was like, I want to like be the out-of-state kid. Like, I want to, you know, be the middle child rebel that's like not in Texas anymore. So.
And Oklahoma was close enough, you know. It was like,
you know,
but I'm out of state.
Like you guys can come to my games, but like you guys aren't like in my business that much.
Not every weekend. Yeah, exactly. I love it. All right. So you did what, 2 years there at Oklahoma? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So what do you think the reason was that you transferred? Was there any, you know, was it sports related specifically?
I think for me, when I committed to Oklahoma, they were very much like in a rebuilding stage. New coaches and everything. In my freshman year, I was still recovering from a labrum surgery. Yeah.
Shoulder?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. That's gnarly. We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
wait. So sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but to me, like athletes going through injuries and that kind of adversity is a big thing, and that's what I want to talk about for the show too. So how did you tear your rotator or labrum?
So, just being so young and playing a sport where you're literally just hitting a ball, at least my position, just hitting it over and over and over again, and like your body's still growing and developing. When I was 16, I like was experiencing like just pain. Like I was like, what? Like
my shoulder hurts.
You know, like everywhere. But you know, like we're always like in pain. We're always like sore. Like something's always tweaked. So I was like, whatever. And I kept on like playing, And after a while, I was like, no.
This isn't right.
I was like,
this
no,
hurts,
like something like hurts. So I went and like got an MRI and everything. And like they told me I had like a tear in my rotator cuff. But like it wasn't huge. Okay. Like it wasn't like fully torn.
Yep.
And so I just got like a shot, like stem cell shot. You know, they're like, you know.
We'll put a little Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So I'm playing, and like 16, 17's year, like I was already committed to my school, but like they're like big competition years for volleyball. You know, like it's like exciting. So I'm like, no, of course I want to play. So 18's year comes around, and we had like a preseason tournament, and I was like, something is like wrong. Like something is like seriously wrong. Yeah. And so I went and got another MRI, and they're like, no, like it tore some more. Ooh. And so I missed my whole 18's year of club, which was like the fun year. Yeah. You know, because like at that point we're all committed. We know where we're going. It's just like we're playing for fun at that point.
Carefree.
You know?
You're just trying to win, like have some fun with your people.
Yeah. And so like I was just like, I want to like finish with all these girls I started with. Like we've been like with each other since we were like 12, you know? And I was like, just like for me and like for my career moving forward, like I have to get surgery and like be out for the season. And that was like brutal. It was awful. And then to go to Oklahoma and like still have some like complications, I was like, what is going on?
Dude, injuries to me are like, I don't know. It's such a double-edged sword because, you know, obviously it hurts in the moment, physically and mentally, right? Emotionally, all these things. But then there's usually some good stuff on the back end, right? Things that you learned, whether it's about your body or just like through that time period. Were there any lessons that you pulled out of that? Like, or maybe did you have injuries in the future that you were prepared for after that?
I think for me, it was like when I got to Oklahoma, I was like still like in return to play protocol. So like still like doing like rehab and stuff. And, going into it, I was just like, even now, like I'm like being a volleyball player is like a big part of my identity for sure. And to be at a place where I was like, I don't really know what's going on. Like I had the surgery, things were supposed to like be better. Like, you know, to me, I'm like right after, like boom, like better.
Labrum's like a serious recovery. That's why I was like, yo.
Yeah, like, and to have like issues after that, like I was definitely in the place where I was like, what if like this is it? Yeah. Like, what if I'm like never like back to how I was? Like, what if I physically can't play? Because I had after my surgery, I had frozen shoulder, so I had to like slowly get back over that. You know?
Oh my God.
And it was brutal, and there were like a lot of days where I was just like, now what? Like you know, like I'm missing my freshman year, like I'm missing like half my season. But I think like for me, it really was like that, like more of an athlete. Like I did get like into like a lot of other things, like extracurriculars, like clubs, and I think it was kind of like, you know, I mean, right now I'm a senior. Yeah. You know, the real world is coming very, very
happening real soon. Yep.
So I think like at that point as a freshman, like it just kind of showed me like, well, you are a lot more than just a volleyball player, and like I developed like a lot of other skills in other areas, I would say. And then like from a physical standpoint, it is just like take care of your body 24/7, you know, and like play every game like it's your last. Because truly, I thought like I might have played my last game.
Nice. Well, I mean, injury, that's it. Perspective. It gave you deep perspective and appreciation probably for the game and that kind of stuff. And it makes when you're healthy, feeling healthy, like so much better. You're just like, man, this is nice. And for somebody too, that's like everything is power, right? Your stroke. If you're not fluid and if things aren't moving right, like that's a big, you know, it probably messes with your head a little bit too. So, I mean, just even the adversity that you overcame through that stuff is pretty impressive. So the rebuild, the injury, that kind of all came into a reason that you wanted to transfer?
Yeah. So my freshman year, like I said, I missed half the season and I kind of played the later half of the season, and it was good. Like I loved my teammates. Still some of my best friends go there, graduated from there. Yeah. In my sophomore year, I just think I loved the school. I did love it. Like the campus was beautiful. My friends on like other teams, like I have some really good relationships leaving Norman, Oklahoma. But at the end of the day, I think I was searching for something a little bit more, like just competitive.
Yeah.
From like an academic standpoint, Oklahoma like was cool. Right. You know, I enjoyed a lot of parts of it, but I wasn't really enjoying the volleyball aspect. And, you know, as a student athlete, that's like a huge part of, you know, your experience.
I would definitely say so. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I kind of wanted to stay there for reasons, to like just be like a loyal person. You know, I committed on these people, but I think I was like, I'm not really enjoying volleyball like I should be. And I feel like to like kind of feel like I'm like falling out of love with my sport. I was like, I owe it to myself to like see if maybe somewhere else might provide some comfort or be a solution.
Man, that's a heavy realization to come to at 18, 19, 20 years old or whatever, and then make a big life decision off that too. Yeah. That's wild. Mm-hmm. Was your family supportive and everything of that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That helps a lot. So what was the biggest difference when you showed up at LSU compared to Oklahoma?
Okay, well, funny story. Right, so when I committed when I was 15, my top 3 schools were like Oregon, Oklahoma, and LSU.
Nice. Okay.
So I already knew Fran, the former coach here. Yeah. I already knew her. I had a relationship with her. So when I entered the portal, Fran was like, "Hey," I was like, "Hey," I was like, "No hard feelings." Right? But luckily, like majority of our team, like I would say like almost half are from Houston. So like I knew a lot of the girls.
That's awesome.
Already, but when I got here, I would say the biggest difference was like the food. I mean, imagine you're in Oklahoma, then you come to Louisiana. Like,
no, 100%.
Like the food here, obviously, is like amazing. And I'd say like the culture. Oklahoma is a school that has a large fan base. Yeah. But you know, nothing compares. Nothing compares.
That's what I needed to hear. That. That's what,
yeah.
And that's what, Big 12?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, they're coming soon though.
What?
2025.
They're coming to SEC?
Texas. Yeah.
Dang, I didn't even know that. Yeah. For all sports?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be like 4 major conferences, I feel like, eventually, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what we're probably trying to get to. That's crazy. Well, what about, I forgot what I was just going to say, sorry. How did you guys, while you were here at LSU, I know you have 1 more year coming up, right? Mm-hmm. How competitive, like, did it scratch that itch? Like, what was it? Was it actually winning, or was it, no, we just take things more serious here? Or, you know what I'm saying? Talk to me a little bit about what that was for you.
So my first year here, it definitely like scratched the surface of that itch, I would say. We had like an amazing team when I first came here, and we were like competing, but we really like fell short of like our goals. Mm-hmm. And then we had a rebuild and like new coaches, and I was like, again, I was like new coach. I was like, oh my gosh. So, you know, Tanya Johnson came in, Jill Wilson, Kevin Inlow, and like Ashley Shook, and like they came in and they took over. And I feel like this year was like the first year I was like, no, this is it. Like, which like the tournament, and like, you know, we fell short like a couple goals that we had, but I would say definitely like the season that we just had, building off of that is really exciting.
How hard is it to go through coaching switches in college? Obviously, I didn't have that during my time at LSU, but I've always been curious about that.
I mean, it's hard because you never know what they want.
Yeah. And you don't know who they're bringing in, too, right? Like that's.
So I know like that was kind of a discussion we had, like just us, like me and the team, like, you know, what do we want? Like, what goals do we have? And I feel like Tanya and all of our new coaches were very good about building relationships with us.
Nice.
Like when they first got here, like bi-weekly, we would have like a different like individual meeting with the coaches, just kind of like, hey, like, how are you? Like, and I feel like they did a good job of like establishing, let me get to like know you, not just like, I need you to do this for me on the court. So I feel like they did a good job of like building that relationship and connection with all of us, which was really nice. But I mean, it's scary because you don't know. I mean, realistically, if they were like, no, we don't see you, like, you know, you don't,
I always think that it's just like they're going to have their things in mind, right? The way that they see the team, or they want to rebuild or whatever it is. And even if you're an upperclassman too, that could be a scary thing, right? They're like, well, guess what? We're going to play this freshman or sophomore and like get her some time, right? Man, that's crazy. So did you think about transferring again or entering the portal at that point? I feel like it's got to cross your mind, right?
No, I was like, am I going to go through this again? I was like, you know, because you don't know. It is kind of scary. But, you know, I feel like when they got here and I talked to them, and I will say they are probably the most honest coaches that I've ever had. Very straightforward. Like, we'll tell you, you need to do X, Y, and Z to be on the court. And if you do X, Y, and Z, you're on the court. Yeah. Which I feel like is fairly rare to come across with some coaches. So I feel like, at least me personally, I felt very like understood, safe, trusted, all that good stuff.
I love that. I was just going to ask, what do you think makes a good coach? And so obviously communication is one of those things, but What do you think about the coaching staff that makes them good?
I mean, I think that it's okay. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this properly. The fact that their game plan worked.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that's very simple to say, but it's like, obviously we're going to trust you if you're telling us do this and we do this and boom, you know?
Exactly.
And I feel like, you know, one of our biggest things as a team this year was film. And the way that they kind of broke down film with us was super helpful. The way that we had a game plan and strategized before every game, like the way we had pregame, serve and pass, all that stuff, like just like different things that were new to some of us, like it just helped so much more. And for our team, our coach were like, we want this to be very player driven. Like if you want reps, like you guys can go and get extra reps yourself. Like we want you guys to like take charge. And I feel like it's nice to like not be micromanaged. Like you trust us enough to like go in and do this stuff. And to like set a standard. Like they're very honest in like what they expect from us and what they need from us. Sounds like direct communication, and then they follow up. So I think some of the things, right, with coaches that I've seen, good coaches and bad coaches, like you said, do this, and this, and you're going to play or perform. You're going to perform well. And it's like the ones that follow through with that stuff, and like where you're like, dude, I checked all those boxes and I'm not playing or I'm not doing well, right? Those are the ones you lose the disconnect with and stuff. So it sounds like that trust was built through communication. Yeah. So I always like hearing like people's experiences with good coaches or coaching staffs that they liked and stuff. And I think I have a lot of coaches and parents that coach Little League, you know, kids and stuff like that listen. So I always try to pull out the things that people have learned from good coaches and stuff. Yeah. Would you say these coaches now, and is it Tanya? Tanya. Mm-hmm.
She played at LSU, did she?
Yes.
Right? How much do you think a coach that has experience versus a coach that doesn't, like, makes it relatable for a player? Does that, you think, go a long way?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. She's literally, like, been in my shoes,
exactly,
you know?
Right?
Like, she understands.
She's done those things,
Yeah, and, like, you know, we're in the same position, too, so it's, like.
That's nice.
It makes it easier for me to be, like, I mean, obviously, all these coaches don't know what they're talking about, but, like, you know exactly, like, what I'm going through, like, what I might be feeling, and you know, like, the steps it takes to get there. Yeah. Like, you know, like she was on some of like the best like teams that LSU has had volleyball wise, and Jill Wilson, you know, she played here too. So it's like you people, like you guys know what it takes. And like now you're here and you're helping us to, you know, rebuild and like make LSU like another powerhouse program.
Absolutely. It feels probably pretty authentic too, to be able to like listen to them and be like, trust that what they're saying and everything too. I love that. So one of the things I always like to talk to today's athletes about is social media and stuff, because that was an element that I didn't have to navigate when I played. A little bit towards the end of my career, you know, Twitter, Instagram was starting to get big, and sports was obviously huge on there, but that was when I was playing professionally. It wasn't really at your age at the collegiate level. So, you know, NIL, all this stuff. Talk to me a little bit about how you use social media. Is it a thing for you? Is it something that you look at positively?
I feel like I like fluctuate depending on the day. Like, sometimes like I want to delete all my social media and like never look at it again.
Yep. Joe and I were talking about that before the show, and like, we were just like, sometimes I just wish I didn't have social media.
Yeah, and like, you know, I feel like obviously when I think I first got like Instagram maybe in like 6th grade, probably not.
Sixth grade.
Not supposed to, but you know, all my friends had it. Yeah. You know, my mom just found it and like was mad, but you know, and like at that point you're just like posting for your friends, like having fun, whatever. Right. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, I feel like I'm a very like authentic person. Like I just like to post. I like to just like, you know, whatever. Like, hey, this is what I'm doing. But now it's like I need to make sure that it's what companies might be looking for, you know? Right. Like building your brand, you know.
I get it. No, that's why I was wondering, like, but it is really a real thing nowadays, right? Like that's how people find out information about you and how you present, right? So the first thing they do is they watch you play a game, and the first thing they go is like type it in on social media. What kind of person is she like off the court? How does she present herself? It says a lot about your character, right? And who you are. So it's just a freaking world that I'm like, I never had to deal with. And I'm like, I'm so thankful that I really didn't have to worry about this at 18, 19 years old.
Yeah. I think for me, or like volleyball players in general, like, you know, volleyball isn't like one of the big main sports in America. So I would say, I mean, definitely this year, women's sports in general, like I feel like people are really tuning in more. But it does, I feel like it's a struggle sometimes. You're like, well, I'm like the face of this. You're like, I do this. But people don't really care because I'm not.
That's stupid.
You know.
Because it's not a main sport or whatever.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
And I feel like, I mean, it's getting better, but I know like when NIL stuff was first like coming out, it was kind of like volleyball and women's athletes were getting a bit more overlooked, and I feel like it's getting better now. But
I love, so like I tried to do a deal last year with a volleyball player. I'm hopefully going to get one done with you this year. To me, I think you guys are the best influencers because I think the people that follow you are, you know, the people that come in here and that kind of stuff, and you make a good impression on them too. So, and I think like there's really something in today's world where the people that have millions and thousands of followers, you know, like all that stuff, they don't, like the algorithm doesn't even let all their followers see their shit, right? So like, I like somebody who has a little bit more intimate following, but all their people engage with them, you know? Yeah. So I enjoy working with the smaller sports. To me, it's, you get to build relationships, you get to find people's stories out, and you get to let them work with you and just, I don't know, build a better relationship. So hopefully we get something done this year with NIL, and I think hopefully, you know, there'll be more opportunities for you and other sports that are on the smaller side or don't get as much attention and love. But have you done any NIL deals yet?
Yeah, I've done a few, like, you know, like boutiques and stuff, which I feel like works for me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What would be some other ones that you would want to do?
I love food.
Nice.
I love.
I'm a foodie. Right?
I am. Like, I love eating out and like trying restaurants. So I feel like any like local Baton Rouge food places for sure.
Do you do that stuff already? Like, do you like post about it? And
I just started.
Nice.
You know, because half the time I'm like tired and like I'm like Chick-fil-A drive-through. But like when I have like off days like today and stuff, I'm like, okay, like let me just go try something and like post about it and stuff. So.
You should, because then I think businesses will see that you're doing that stuff too and be like, yeah, we want that for ours.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have to figure out something for Cards and Culture that you got to do. I was thinking too, one of the things I have a really cool. I was telling you, a graphic designer, and so maybe we could design some T-shirts or something. I think that would be cool, and you guys can, you know, sell them to your fan base, friends and family, all that stuff. So hopefully we get something done. I was gonna say one other thing too. Oh, if you could give advice to, actually this is perfect. My 14-year-old niece, she's actually wants to play travel volleyball and all this stuff. She just went to this big tournament out in DC and everything. Okay. So what advice do you have for a 14-year-old that's looking to take, you know, her sport a little bit more serious, you know, and try to play at the college level?
I would say, I know it might be challenging as a 14-year-old to like think about academics and stuff, but you have to really think about that, where you might want to be, what you might want your future profession to be, and really take a look at if schools you're interested in have that program and stuff. But overall, just you have to keep like the joy, keep the passion, you know. It's truly miserable to to do something if you're not enjoying it. So just like remember why you started.
I love that. And I love that you brought up looking at the academic side of things first and then kind of going the athletic side. So I think that's really real, and I appreciate that. Jordan, my niece, is she's a rock star in school. She gets straight A's and everything. So she'll probably be able to go anywhere she wants and everything. So we're just trying to take it step by step and see what happens. But what about an 18-year-old that's just stepped foot on campus and is a freshman? What advice do you have for him or her as a college athlete, time management, you know, being on your own, away from parents and everything for the first time? You have any experiences or lessons that you could share that you'd be like, yeah, I'm not doing that again?
Oh my gosh, actually, yeah. Okay. Well, when I first got to college, I was unaware of the whole entire like final schedule flip and stuff. So
what is that? What do you mean?
It's like, you know, like finals week, your classes have different schedules for their finals. Like it's,
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I
so
get it. It's not, yeah. Where you have to like schedule them or they're just at a different time.
Yes, at a different time.
Yeah. That's really weird.
Right?
I don't understand it.
Me
like
neither.
I get the ones where you got to go on the computer and you got to schedule and like go to the testing center, but why is my Monday, Wednesday, Friday 1:30 to 3:30 all of a sudden on Tuesday at 6 p.m.?
Exactly. So keep in mind, this is like in the fall. So end of fall semester is my finals.
Is that Oklahoma or?
Oklahoma.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think we had like a game maybe the week before. So maybe I missed the class where like they told us that, you know, this time is our final. So I show up to class and no one's in there for like on the day of my final. And I'm like, what's going on, right? Like, I'm freaking out because I know the final, like, I studied, like, I like walked into the class, like, whatever. And it was like at a different time, a different day. I emailed my professor and she was like, sorry. She was like, sorry. Yeah. And like, I'm crying, like calling my coach, like, I'm sorry. Like, I thought I was gonna like get kicked out of school. Like, I thought everything was like, so I'd say make sure that you're aware of that.
Check times and schedules. Yeah.
But also like have fun.
Yeah.
Like, I have probably some of my like most fun memories from my freshman year in college. You know, it's exciting, but balance for sure.
Time management and balance. I think those are the two main things I always say when somebody asks me, like, if you could go back to 18-year-old you and teach yourself something, I'd be like, balance. Have some, like, I didn't even do anything in college. Like, I was so like baseball only, you know, like all that. So that was my one little regret about college is I wish I would have had a little bit more fun. Not that, whatever. All right. So what's next? How do you start thinking about the real world, while you're still playing and staying present, in your senior year?
I think, and I mean, LSU has so many great connections that you can make. So kind of networking with people like in the community. But for me, I'm a journalism major, so I would love to go into like sports broadcasting or something, or work at like a sports PR firm or something. Nice. It would like be like my end goal. So kind of just.
I think you should go broadcasting. I'm being dead serious. Like I was
so?
I'm being dead serious. So you have a great your mic presence. You speak, you articulate very, very well.
Stop.
I'm serious. I'm being dead ass. I was thinking, and I tell Joe this all the time. Like when I have college kids on, no offense to college kids, but they just haven't had as much life experience. So it's hard. It's kind of hard to go deep and have depth and that kind of stuff. And you've been right here the whole time killing it. Yeah, you're killing it. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you don't do like the and the light, like all that stuff. So I think you're killing it.
Thank you.
Sports broadcasting. Yeah. What would you want to do? Volleyball?
Yeah, I would love to. I think if the leagues that they're trying to make in America for volleyball, like if they stick, I would love to go into that. I mean, I wouldn't mind like starting with like maybe like college volleyball matches and stuff. But yeah, I love football. So I'm trying to get into baseball. Cool. Like I'm trying to learn more.
It's slow. It's slow.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into like I like watching it, but like I don't know all the terms and stuff.
We could go watch some baseball games. Okay. We'll go to LSU games together. Yeah. It'll be good. I'll start teaching some lingo.
Thank you.
It'll be good. We can sit up in the booth. You can listen to the broadcasters. I got you.
Okay.
It'll be good. Sanaa, thank you so much. This was awesome. I really enjoyed this. It was a great conversation. I know you're busy, so I really appreciate the time.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.